You are watching WSCS News at noon. I'm Kyrie Cox.
And I'm Kiara Brownson.
In today's show, we will find out how students are balancing the stresses of college life, academics, with their social life.
Plus, speaking of academics, we will talk with students to see how they plan to use their time over the winter break.
And we will tell you about a new kind of chocolate that's not really chocolate. Does that sound confusing? Well, we will explain it later in the show.
We begin this newscast with a story that is still developing. SC State basketball senior guard Tyvorus Solomon is recovering after his collapse on the bench during a game over the weekend.
Well, Tyvorus is recovering in a Raleigh, North Carolina hospital after collapsing during the NC State game over the weekend. SC State's athletic trainer Tyler Long helped resuscitate Tyvorus using CPR until emergency medical personnel used an automatic external defibrillator. In an interview with the Raleigh News and Observer, Tyvorus says, "Right now, I'm just cherishing every moment. I don't take anything for granted." As of now, it's unclear why Tyvorus collapsed. We will continue to update this story as more news become available.
Residents in Bennettsville, South Carolina say that there has been an increase in violent crimes in the area. Between 2016 and present, there have been over 200 reports of assault.
Reporter Ronald Hannigan traveled to Bennettsville to talk with public safety officials there to see how they address the concern of its residents.
I spoke with Training Sergeant Officer Sean Lucas of the Bennettsville Police Department about gang
violence in Marlboro County. We asked which area has seen the most gang violence.
It's not a particular area, but actually before we did a federal roundup, the Down West and Mill Farm area had the most high-rated crime area in the city of Bennettsville.
I asked Officer Lucas what his plan was to bring the crime rate down.
What we do is we actually go out to the primary school, also to the intermediate school. We actually talk to the kids, read books to them, and actually get to know them on a different type level. We don't want them just to see us as a bad thing. We want to get to know these kids and let them know that we're there for them, not just for anything else.
Officer Lucas shared that he knows someone who has been affected by gang violence.
Yes, just here last year. So right now I'm a training sergeant. Before I became a training sergeant, I was a gang and criminal investigator. One of my best friend's cousin actually got murdered about a year or two ago in reference to gang violence.
He shared that since the federal roundup took place, the violence has gone down 50%.
Now, like I spoke earlier about the federal roundup situation we worked with the county with. During that time, the Down West and Mill Farm area was had a high crime rate. But right now, since we did that, our gang violence went down 50%. So right now, Bennettsville is a pretty much safe place to live. Lakeside area, north side area is a very good place to live.
To remain proactive, the Marlboro County Sheriff's Department is holding an active shooter workshop for churches in January. The event will start at 10 a.m. in the Bennettsville Community Center. South Carolina Law Enforcement Division will conduct the workshop.
The winners of the 2017 Armstrong Williams Scholarship have been released. Let's take a look at the winners. Thomas Blake, Nakia Ali, Lynn McGreer, and our very own Kyrie Cox were awarded a $2,000 scholarship from South Carolina State University alumnus Armstrong Williams. Thomas Blake is one of those recipients of the scholarship, and he is very excited about this honor.
It's very gratifying. I almost gave up on it, and I'm thankful that I stuck through it and that I was able to get it.
During this year's homecoming, SC State dedicated a rose garden on the campus in honor of the Armstrong Williams' mother, Thelma Howard Williams. It is located right across from the CAF.
There are 24 hours in a day. In these 24 hours, college students have a lot to do. Classes, work, home assignments, parties, you name it. As WSCS reporter Alyssa Gasson finds out, balance is the key to being a successful college student.
How do you balance college life so far?
That's a good question.
According to Psychology Today, 80% of students struggle with balancing a social life and having academics.
I've always had time. I've always had trouble with it.
For Rayshawn Shepard, procrastination is his big issue.
It seems like my work comes better when I procrastinate, but it's also a problem when I procrastinate because sometimes I'll be up late nights doing it and not getting enough sleep.
This is a familiar story to Milton. She is the Director of Counseling and Development at South Carolina State.
Usually right after midterm and just before finals, when students have not done what they needed to do, they have not gone to class, had a lot of absences, they have not done well on their tests, and at this point they just really don't know what to do.
Militant helps students look inward to see why they are making mistakes like failing tests and not going to class.
College is fun, supposed to be fun, but you're not here to enhance your social skills. You're here to get an education.
She stresses that students should have priorities and set goals.
Important things for students is to have balance.
She says this is something that's often difficult for freshmen because they are adjusting to freedom. South Carolina State freshman Isaiah Bonds agree with Millicent.
I think it's hard because, so many freshmen get the college life that we want to experience it so much. We want to party and see what we see on television so much that we tend to forget that we're in college.
Some students manage to have their academics and maintain a social life by having time management.
I just do my work, then I hang out with friends, stuff like that at the end. But I make sure I always complete my work on time.
South Carolina State junior social work major Kiana Dotson knows exactly what to do so she won't get behind in her classes.
I have a schedule and I keep my alarms on so I will not be late for class at all. So I gotta stay prompt and stay on time.
And if students are still having trouble balancing college life?
Life is all about learning and doing better. And when you learn, it's an experience that you have to carry with you. So regardless of what happens, you learn from that.
This is information Shepard and many other students can use as they try to finish this semester strong. Reporting from South Carolina State, I'm Alyssa Gatson.
If you are having trouble balancing college life, or you just want some better studying habits, stop by the Counseling and Self-Development Center on campus.
The SC State exam week is almost over.
When students finish their last final exam, most will go home until the spring semester starts. How will students spend their time away from college?
Well, we sent reporter Bryant Weaver to get answers.
He's joining us now from the Student Center on campus. Bryant, what can you tell us?
Good evening. I am Bryant Weaver. At this very moment, students on the campus of South Carolina State University are preparing for finals and ending the first semester. Even though finals are only a week and winter break is for a month, I have a student with me here today to tell me what are his plans for the winter break after this rough week of finals. Today I have with me is Mr. Thomas Ocean. Thomas, could you please tell me your major, where you're from, and what are your plans over the winter break?
Well, I am a child development major. I'm from Bennettsville, South Carolina, and over winter break, I plan to continue to work at my second job over the entire break, and I plan on going home the week of Christmas, spend a few days with my family, and come back and work for the rest of the remainder of the winter break.
That's great to hear, my man. Well, I hope you enjoy your winter break of full relaxation and working hard. Until next time, I am Bryant Weaver here at SC State.
Thanks, Brian. We will check with you later in the show.
According to StopBullying.com, 21% of students aged 12 to 18 have experienced some type of cyberbullying.
When we come back from the break, we will talk with a parent of a child that has been cyberbullied.
Plus, with there being a rise in domestic violence cases, we will sit down with a social worker to find out what are the warning signs and what help is available for someone trying to get out of a bad situation.
You are watching WSCS News at Noon. More news is right around the corner. Welcome back to WSCS News at Noon. A recent report says that nearly half of teens have been a victim of cyberbullying. Reporter Shanice Cotman sat down with a parent who is the son of a victim of bullying and tells us what the warning signs are.
Have you ever experienced cyberbullying? Cyberbullying is the use of electronic communication to bully a person, typically by sending messages of an intimidating or threatening nature. For 11-year-old Jalen Davenport, cyberbullying is a reality.
Because there was this girl named Essence, and she kept messing with me, and I didn't like what she was saying. She was calling me like the F word, the B word, and not saying like nice things.
According to iSafe Foundation, over half of children and teens have been bullied online. More than 1 in 3 young people have experienced cyber threats. Experiencing cyberbullying could have a negative impact on a child's behavior. Fortunately for Jalen, it has not affected his life.
Oh, I just forget about them. Because I know that they can't affect me.
According to Jalen's mother, Kishana, Jalen has learned how to step in and intervene for others being bullied.
No, if anything, I've seen him get stronger. He stands up for himself more often now.
People deal with cyberbullying in many ways, but Jalen has his own way of dealing with it.
I block them and report them, put them on mute. Just ignore them. They're just old news.
Parents remain unaware of their children being bullied. 58% cyberbullying victims have not told their parents. You Know Incorporated provides 10 signs that you could tell that your child is a victim of cyberbullying. Kishana also offers tips to the parents who have children that are currently experiencing bullying.
Stand up for your kids or your children, and let them know that they are not alone. Listen to them and just keep giving them the positivity they need.
For more information on cyberbullying, you can check out bullyingstatistics.org.
Thanks, Shanice, for that report.
Domestic violence loses nearly 8 million days of paid work per year in the U.S. alone.
Here's another statistic. 40% of domestic violence victims are men.
Reporter Jose Matthews is in the studio to tell us about a local organization that is trying to reduce the number of domestic violence victims.
Domestic violence in the state of South Carolina is up high, top 5 to be exact. I asked social worker James Rickenbacker on how to resolve the issue on domestic violence.
A man should never put his hand on a woman, no matter what the situation is.
But according to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men are victims of domestic violence. South Carolina has consistently ranked among the top 10 for women killed by men.
Outreach to certain people, get a therapist, you can do anything. There's many solutions to that problem, but hitting a woman is not the answer.
That's where CASA, or Citizens Against Sexual Assault, comes in. It is an organization started to assist the victims and break the cycle of domestic violence. CASA social worker for the Orangeburg Tri-County area, James Rickenbacker, sees a lot of domestic violence situations.
Well, statistics say it takes a person 10 times of trying to leave before they actually leave.
Rickenbacker has worked with other community agencies like Head Start in the state of South Carolina. He currently talks to young people so when they get older, they won't turn to violence as a way to resolve an issue.
Primarily, I do speaking engagements, overview of services of CASA.
Corn Hill has been in a domestic violence situation.
Just anger, pettiness. What else? What else we got? Jealousy. I don't know. It's a lot, but just know the main thing is anger. Like domestic violence just comes from anger or a love for that person.
Rickenbacker is doing his part to make sure it doesn't get to that point.
You know, while we're here, we definitely have services available. Once a person decides that they want to leave, we have a shelter in Orangeburg, and you know, we allow them and their children to come for a period and just try to get them stabilized.
Contrary to what some believe, men and women can be victims of domestic violence.
Alternative Methods Department they do have a male class, and for males who have been found guilty of CDV, and they have class for females. So men and women can be victims.
Fear for their lives, having children, and financial dependence upon the partner are all reasons for victims staying in dangerous situations. Rickenbacker says it must be a personal decision to leave.
From my standpoint, was just provide them with the resources, just be there as a support person.
Levante Glisson, who has seen a sweet relationship go sour, urges no one to stay when either partner become abusive.
Tell them to leave this situation they're in. Because if anybody's angry with you to the point to where they want to put hands on you, then it's probably not a good situation to be in.
That's the same message Rick and Baker is stressing.
CASA is here. We are here 24/7, 365, and always have that support system.
While he doesn't expect the domestic violence rates to go down overnight, he does want everyone to know there is a place to find help.
If your relationship becomes too abusive, please do not hesitate to seek help. This is Jose Matthews reporting.
Thanks, Jose, for your report.
Before we go to break, we want to tell you about a story that's making rounds on social media.
So, a hungry Waffle House customer cooked his own food and came back the next day to pay for it.
You heard that right. Alex Bowen came into West Columbia Waffle House around 3 a.m. for a bite to eat. He waited about 10 minutes for someone to come and assist him.
After noticing a worker sleep in the booth, Bowen decided to cook his own double Texas bacon cheese steak melt. He posted his experience on Facebook the next day when he came back to Waffle House to pay for his tab.
As for the sleeping worker, Waffle House suspended the employee, and Bowen was offered a job at Waffle House. No word whether he decided to take the job offer or not.
That's a different kind of story.
Definitely. I'm glad he at least came back to pay for his food. Well, when we come back, we will check in on Bryant Weaver, who's on campus in the Student Center. He's talking about New Year's resolutions.
And college students are graduating and taking jobs that are leaving them underemployed. Joel Stein will be in the studio to tell us more about this issue.
Stay tuned. We're coming right back.
Graduation is seen as the big prize for staying in school and getting good grades.
Now these graduates are getting jobs, but many times the jobs they're getting are causing them to be underemployed.
Joel Stein joins us from the Media Center with more on this story. Joel.
Underemployment within college students is low, but without proper guidance and preparation, some may fall into that category.
According to Money.com, 1 in every 4 workers with a bachelor's degree is underemployed, meaning he or she is in a job which doesn't require a college degree. Daquan Huff attended the career fair in hopes of not being in that number.
I mean, it's all about taking advantage of all your opportunities as a college student. You know, we're trying out here and trying to do the right things with ourselves.
Huff is not alone. Several people took advantage of the annual event to find a job in their field.
To take advantage of the opportunities that South Carolina State has to offer and just seeing what opportunities are out there. You know, we're undergrad students and we have to think about the next steps. So just making that effort to come out and learn.
Among recent college graduates, the underemployment rate is even higher, with around 44% of them being in overqualified positions. Director of the Career Services and event organizer Joseph Thomas wants to help students to work in their field. That's why he's so excited about the turnout for this year's career fair.
We've had so many students prior to coming today. We had about almost 40 students, assistants, helping us to set up for this event.
Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources for Orangeburg Consolidated School District, Ernest Holliday, is one of those employers looking for some good applicants.
Right now, one of the biggest challenges that we're facing is finding quality applicants to go into the field of education. There are a lot more teachers leaving the field of education than are being graduated from institutions of higher education and coming into the field. So there's a huge shortage in education, and not just in Orangeburg County, but across the nation. We're seeing that shortage in education and teachers coming into the profession.
Holiday and other employers share this advice for students wanting a job right out of college.
Know exactly what you want to do and keep that as one of your passions and your dreams. As you're talking to some of the professionals here at the extravaganza, make sure they see that you do have that passion for that particular career that you're interested in and you're talking to them about.
Another student named Audarius Wall has taken that advice, and he's ready.
Work hard, look at people, and just to apply yourself and use your mouthpiece, use your words, and just build up your credentials.
With motivation like that, hopefully Audarius Wall will be in his dream job.
I spoke with some students about the future of their careers. Hopefully those tips will inspire students to not become underemployed in the future. This is Joel Stein reporting from the Media Center.
Great report, Joel. We are right in the middle of the holiday season. A new year will be here before you know it.
Our students making New Year's resolutions. Reporter Bryant Weaver is in the Student Center and joining us now to tell us what students are saying. Bryant.
Good evening. I am Bryant Weaver. Being that the new year is on its way and 2017 is almost over, and so much has happened this year from a new president to the solar eclipse, we asked a student from South Carolina State University what is her New Year's resolution for the world and what is her New Year's resolution for herself. Today I have with me Miss Daisha Woodruff. Good evening, Miss Daisha Woodruff. Could you please first start off by telling me what is your most charitable moment of this year?
I would have to say my most cherished moment from 2017 is coming up on my year of being a Delta, because Delta is a lifetime commitment and it means the world to me.
That's great to hear. I would also like to ask you, what is your New Year's resolution for yourself, and do you have a New Year resolution for the world?
I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions because I believe that you should work towards bettering yourself every day. So that's what I would continue doing, looking at my rights and my wrongs and improving myself. But I would have to say for the world, we need to get rid of Trump first. And then after that, we need to work as a unit globally to work towards more global peace.
Well, that's great to hear. I hope you have a wonderful and great, peaceful New Year's. I am Bryant Weaver here at SC State.
Brian, I think we're looking forward to a peaceful new year. Thanks so much. So, Kyrie, do you have a New Year's resolution?
Not really. We have one more story for you. It's a story about chocolate, but it's not really about chocolate.
Hershey, the chocolate candy maker, is rolling out its newest edition since nearly 22 years. It's called Hershey Gold. Hershey Gold is a caramelized cream bar. The ingredients include pretzels and peanuts baked inside, but there's no chocolate.
Hershey says the peanuts and pretzels add a crunch that customers want.
This is a new candy that's available in stores now. Hershey's plans to advertise its new product heavily during the Winter Olympics next year.
That candy might be good. We will have to try it when we leave.
Well, that's all the news we have for you right now.
Be sure to keep up with what's happening throughout the day on our social media apps.
Enjoy the rest of your day.